Accidentally catfished my husband and he fell for it. So, I have many Instagram accounts, including a phony profile for stalking PLZ no judgment. Tonight, I accidentally commented to my husband's Instagram story from the false page. I really believed I was on my own page. He had a wedding gig, and I was remarking on the location. His answer was weirdly flirtatious, and after a few messages back and forth, I realized we were chatting via the bogus page. I messaged him at that time, wondering whether he knew who he was talking to. He said no, but he's trying to see. Remember, he doesn't even follow this people page. I had a feeling he knew it was me, but I still wanted to play with him to see how far this might go. So I flirted back, told him to come visit me, and he gave me his phone number, so I started messaging. I texted him from my work phone. I provided him my address so that we could meet. I have a friend out of town, so I gave her address. And I'm stressing out the entire time, expecting for him to tell me to stop playing. Instead, he messages me that he's going bar hopping with his pals after the concert. Meanwhile, he's on his way to this person's home, which is my friend's address, and I'm fairly sure he's been there before, so I'm still going with it since there's no way he could be this slow. How could he not realize it was me? He's aware of my phony page. And then he's just spoken to this bogus website for 2/3 hours, has only seen one image, and we've been married for 5 years. There have never been any controversies involving cheating or infidelity. But, alas and behold, he shows up to the home, calls, and messages many times to say he's outside. After about 20 minutes of waiting, he phones the real me to say he's weary and won't be going out any longer, and that he's on his way home. When he arrives home, he acts normal. So I'm wondering whether he was really interested in meeting this mysterious lady. I'm absolutely taken aback. So, while he's in the home, I text him from my work phone, apologizing for not replying earlier, making some nonsense reason, but inviting him to come back if he was down. And this MF comes to me and says he still wants to go hang out. He hasn't been out or seen his buddies in a long time, so he believes he should go. As he's getting ready, I text, as the female, that it's better if he comes the following night, and he agrees. I searched his pockets and vehicle for condoms or purchase receipts, but there were none. I had a buddy email me the ring footage, and he was really present. So I'm really perplexed because I never anticipated this from him. I feel terrible for causing this scenario, and confronting him about it would be ridiculous. I wouldn't even know how to approach him since I've never been cheated on. But he actually went to the residence of a random Instagram girl. I'm upset and angry, and I don't trust him. How can I get beyond this? Edit, for future reference. We married at the age of 21 after dating for 6 months. We are now both 26. Story 2. Advice because I still love him. Hello, I discovered my BF's Tinder account, complete with his precise location, pics from his private IG, and age. He said it was a hoax and that he had been banned from Tinder for years. Meanwhile, my buddies, who were just trying to protect me, were swiping and looking for the profile, but it had vanished after I informed him I saw it. And he continued telling me that I clearly don't trust him and that I should have blind confidence in his eyes. We had a wonderful relationship before everything occurred, and we are devastated. Anyways, when he showed me his phone, the banned message appeared. When I questioned about his work phone, he stated he didn't want to download and show me Tinder since his supervisor would surely find out if he used it. I trusted him, and we continued. We have the most amazing times, and I adore him more than anybody else. Our partnership has been filled with memorable moments, memories, and adventures. I utilized his work phone for a therapy session and got a strange gut sensation that I wanted to see whether the phone had a Tinder membership. I discovered one who was active on Tinder and began the day that profile appeared while I was out of town. I also came across a Bumble trial from when we were dating a few months ago. My heart rate slowed. I had no idea what to do. I met with him and told him we needed to split up since it seems he's been lying to me. He was stunned and added, "I'm 100% confident I did not cheat or download them. I adore you." I wanted to trust him since he's so great to me, but this was just too strange. I ended our relationship, and I now really regret it. He phoned me and said it was most likely the same person who took his phone in Mexico a few years back. He believes this person is using his old phone to create a false Tinder profile and is using his Apple ID to download items, which means it will show on his phone as well. Also, he didn't want to post about me on social media since he stated he preferred to be personal. That was all right at first, but after a year of dating, it seems strange. I told him this, and he said it stinks that it seems to be related to the Tinder thing, but he assures me it isn't. It's all turned on me now, and he claims he's second-guessing all the wonderful times since I had the impression he was cheating rather than being honest. This entire situation stinks, and I wish I hadn't broken up with him. Any suggestions? I'll chat with him later this week. I'm also going to counseling to work on my trust problems. I adore him so much. I want he could be truthful so I can think this Tinder isn't him. All I want is for us to be safe. I even offered him we could go to couples counseling, and he claimed he had done nothing wrong, because I'm the one who brought everything to a halt, and it's entirely up to me to put things right. Story 3. Repeated infidelity of potential narcissist. I've been married to my spouse, 33M, for little over 4 years. We didn't live together before we married, and although there were obviously red flags before we married, he was much more exposed after we were living together. What I find most difficult is the ongoing denial/lies/excuses, as well as what seems to be a lack of remorse. When I discover him texting other women, he always has an explanation that he can't back up. My buddy was using my phone, I say, I must have been hacked. Despite the fact that I can easily see it's him sending these texts. He only admits to what I can discover and only comes open about what he simply cannot dodge. I was heartbroken when I found additional communications and with numerous ladies, both flirting and of a troubling sexual nature, around a year and a half ago. I couldn't tolerate being near him, but we were isolated at home where we reside. He couldn't stand it when I went to another room. He got fed up with my inability to forgive. This was not the first time, and requested for a divorce, packed his belongings, and left in a fury one night. He was jailed for violating curfew and spent a few days in prison. He begged to return less than a day later. We went to therapy and attempted to mediate as best we could. I don't believe the therapy was especially beneficial. His primary argument is that the only way for him to progress is for me to be by his side and assist him. I brought him back and let him return home, but I saw he was texting different women. When I bring this up in therapy, he gives the same reasoning for how I may assist. I do my best to let things go back to normal, and be as supportive as possible. A year later, I had a hunch and checked my phone again. We've spoken about how I should be allowed to do so at any moment, but he's not serious about it and constantly gets furious. I notice a lot of messages on social media and in texts with ladies. One of the women I saw him with inquires about the signs of an STD. I recently had some symptoms, and when I went to the doctor, I was given some blanket treatment since I was on my period and he couldn't fully inspect me. My spouse, I notice, has inquired with a pharmacist for the same exact drug, soon after chatting with that lady. I confront him about everything. The same thing. His pal was on the phone. His buddy needed the medication, and he was assisting him. I asked that buddy, and my husband said I'm his friend, and he'll never come near us again. It couldn't be one of his friends. We have a curfew, thus many texts were sent late at night. His pal texted back once, stating, "I'm sorry I had to borrow your husband's phone once," and that was all. My spouse has a habit of gaslighting me and snooping through things that I can't verify, yet he would not show his commitment to me. His relatives and friends try to persuade me that he loves me, but I'm not persuaded. Despite this, I persisted until a lady messaged me on social media with screenshots of their talks. There was nothing he could say to refute it, so instead he attacked that woman's character, calling her sleazy and so on. It utterly fails to hit the target. She can do anything she wants as a single woman, and she can have him, but he cannot as a married guy. Is it crazy for me to want to just up and leave? I attempted to jump ahead of Core on a whim, but he wouldn't allow me, so I'm devising a strategy.